do a review of this then, and a demonstration as well, of the Bosch Series 2. It's not written on the front, but it's the Series 2 SMS50T22GB, and then they have a few different variations. This is the 25. They do obviously, there's an 01, there's an 09, there's a 14, etc. But essentially all they tend to do, those, apart from obviously the 01 being a earlier version, and this being a 25 means it's a later version, generally all they do is do things like this, where they put like silver buttons in and may change the racks up slightly, maybe, stuff like that. Nothing ever too drastic. Anyway, being a Series 2, it's both Bosch's cheapest dishwasher and the most basic dishwasher. But also, being a Series 2, this is a continuation from the old classics, essentially. No real difference. But the only real difference at this time, though, is there's a start button, which is nice. Gives you a little bit more control. Alright, on-off buttons here. And when you do light it up, the washing lights should start flashing. We've got the salt indicator on, rinse aid indicator on, simply to mean that, well, there's none in, unfortunately, in this. There won't be throughout this process. By the way, if you ever think, why do I not put any salt and rinse aid in, is this very simple reason of I will do it once I've sold the dishwasher. I don't want it sitting there doing nothing. So I'll happily deliver this dishwasher once I've sold it and install it and set it up properly for the next customer. We do live in a soft water area, so we can happily get away without using salt if we're using all-in-one tabs. And as for rinse aid, we can just about get away with rinse aid as well, although it does help with drying just to set it to 1 or 2 mil. Anyway, you've got a series of 5 programs on this machine. You've got Intensity 70, Normal 65, Eco 50, Quick 45 and Pre-Rinse. Now there's no timings unfortunately for it in the manual, but I'm going to guess they're all 2.5 hours, because they all do the same thing, just all at different temperatures. Every single one will do, so the Intensity 70, Normal 65 and Eco 50 will all have the same pattern. They'll have a pre-rinse followed by the main wash at the temperature selected, followed by an intermediate rinse, followed by the hot rinse for your rinse aid at 65 degrees regardless of which of these 3 programs you select, and then followed by drying. Right, that's them. If you're obviously doing heavily soiled items, use Intensity 70. If you're using, or you can use Normal 65 according to manual, or you can use Normal 65 for normal soiling, use Eco 55 for normal soiling or light soiling, and then obviously Quick 45, which is just the wash at 45 degrees, a cold rinse, and then followed by a hot rinse at 55 degrees. No drying. That will be done in 29 minutes, but that's made for washing primarily stuff with light dustings on, effectively. Right, then we've got pre-rinse, which should still be about 19 minutes long. It's just a cold pre-rinse to get off excess non-dried in stuff. So, more so, you're supposed to do a pre-rinse at the end of the day if you're not putting the wash on, if you've got stuff in, just to stop the food from setting on, making the job of the dishwasher harder, of course. Right. Then we've got half loads, and it just states in the manual just to select it when you're only washing less items. Doesn't really necessarily say what rack or anything. Then obviously you've got time delay of 3 hours, 6 hours and 9 hours. And that's delay start. So if it's 3 hours and the wash cycle is 2.5 hours, if you set it now, it'll delay for 3 hours. then wash 2.5 hours, and finish in about 5.5 hours time, just for example. Then we've got obviously start and reset. So we press start and the light full washing will go solid. If we want to cancel the program, we have to press and hold start. And there we go, we've reset now. So we've now reset, the washing light will now go out whilst it's resetting. Then once it's done and it's ready to set a new cycle, the washing light will start flashing again. Anytime you press reset, it will drain for a minute. Right. So, being the basic Bosch dishwasher, you've got the normal traditional rack at the bottom, which somehow they've managed to bend one pin, but anyway. So you get the basic cutlery rack, which to be fair actually washes better than the barrier rack. You can shut them off if you want, so you can put stuff in. Interestingly, that's also a full rack. It's not a sliding rack. That's a little bit annoying. And very old-fashioned. And then of course we've got these two racks here, which can both fold down out the way. Just like by simply, can we see? And they'll fold flat. And when you're done, you can just pull it back up again. And now clip back into place. Now we've got a filter. Or should I say double filter. Wash blade arm, which can be taken out and cleaned. Then we've got our top rack. So this is apparently adjustable. So this is your knife rack at the top. And the whole entire rack can also be adjusted. You'll just have to take it out and slide it in again. Now we'll load her up. And then we've got our rinse aid there. Pour it in. Looks like they modified that because the original one, you can adjust it on there. Looks like the other, looks like you can only adjust it using the internal computers. And then of course you've got your detergent. That flicks down like that. There we go. Only one compartment because Bosch finally just basically did away with the whole idea of using pre-washed detergent, and it has been proven that it pretty much, yeah, pre-washed detergent isn't really necessary. But actually, we'll do it on Eco. Okay, so the spoons, very, very normal like this. Right. So the problem I have is it's actually down to the rubbish tabs that I use, the Magnum tabs. They are not very good with stuff like this, and yet I find that if I use the finished Quantums, which I have at home, or stuff like that, it will clean it perfectly. So, in Becca, more interesting. So, yeah. Right. Everything else is clean. To be fair, that's quite good actually. Because normally, if there's one other thing that affects between a poor dishwasher and a good dishwasher, is that normally, even with the Magnum tabs, a good dishwasher will still get rid of at least all the tea stains in the bottom. Maybe. There's one missing there. Yes. Yeah. But is that because of selected half load? I don't know. Even more interestingly, can you see that? There's still water on it. But only on that side, and only on the outside of the mug. And only on that red mug, and not on the purple one. That's interesting. Yes, it is very damp in the top right corner there. So, what to give this out of 10 then? Well, this is a older type of design. Yes, it's got the Series 2 badge on, but it is effectively a Class 6 that's carried on over. But now with the combined heat wash pump and digital drain pumps. So what does that mean then? It's going to be more reliable. The actual reason why this is here, I'm not entirely sure, other than there was one button. There's a back of a metal button inside the dishwasher, inside one of the spray arms, which would suggest that it may have shorted out when that button had hit one of the things. But then since then, it's been fine here. So it's pretty much the only problem it's had, at least from what I can see. From what I can also tell by it, it's probably already been reconditioned beforehand as well, in a previous life. And it hasn't been running for very long, it hasn't been used very much, and then all of a sudden that's happened. So reliability, these are not quite as good as, say, my mum's old classics. Simply based on the fact that your combined heat pump does fail, and the digital pumps, weirdly, also fail. The two things that kind of run everything. However, board issues seem to be very rare, if not at all, don't really exist. Occasional leaks do appear on these with the bottom seal, but other than that, I mean, in terms of competition, this is definitely cheaper and better than a lot. Yeah, so let's give this out of 10 then. Well, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. It's solid enough. Maybe the cycle lengths are a bit, you know, kind of... I'm pretty sure all three of these are the same length, all like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, etc. And of course you've only got the quick, which is 29 minutes, so it doesn't give that much flexibility, but it is also a basic machine then, I suppose. 9 out of 10, there's not that much flexibility in the racks either. In fact, I was quite surprised that it's got a fixed in place cutlery rack in the bottom. I thought it would have had at least an adjustable one that you can, you know, put anywhere along the bottom rack, but no. 9 out of 10. Yeah, it's basic enough. Its quality is good enough. Its washing performance is good enough and all that. What more do you want? Cool. Alright, enjoy the review. And I'll see you lot in another video. So, bye for now.